Do not love half lovers. Do not love half lovers. Do not give your heart to those who stand with one foot in your life and the other foot out the door. Life is too short and too precious for half-hearted connections. Love, in its truest form, demands presence, commitment, and vulnerability. Half lovers offer none of these. They bring confusion instead of clarity, and hesitation instead of certainty. Full love requires commitment, and commitment is the cornerstone of any meaningful and lasting relationship. It's easy to get swept up in the early stages of a relationship when emotions are high and everything feels exciting and new. But love that lasts, love that is profound and transformative, cannot exist on mere emotions or fleeting moments. It requires effort, intention, and the willingness to choose each other over and over again, especially when things get difficult. Commitment is about being there for someone, not just when it's convenient or when things are easy, but when challenges arise, when emotions are messy, and when life doesn't unfold as expected. It's the conscious decision to show up, to invest in the person, and to build something deeper than just surface-level affection. It means being present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It's about being fully invested in someone's happiness, growth, and well-being, just as they should be for you. Too often, people confuse love with infatuation, passion, or even dependency. While all of these can be part of a relationship, they do not constitute the full spectrum of love. Infatuation is intense, but it is temporary. It's that rush of emotions that makes your heart race and your mind swirl. But it is not the foundation upon which to build a life together. Passion is beautiful and necessary, but it's not sustainable without commitment. Dependency is not love at all. It's a form of attachment that lacks balance and healthy interdependence. Real love requires that we make the choice to show up, even when the passion isn't as intense, even when the other person isn't perfect, and even when we don't feel like it. Commitment asks us to stay through the hard times, not run at the first sign of difficulty. It's about choosing to work through challenges together, to communicate openly, and to listen without judgment. In times of conflict, commitment demands that we don't give up on each other, but instead find solutions that respect both people involved. Commitment in love also means not holding back. It's the willingness to give your whole self, your heart, your mind, your trust. It means being vulnerable with each other, allowing the other person to see you as you truly are, flaws and all, and still choosing to love and accept one another. Too many people fear vulnerability, believing that by exposing their true selves, they'll be rejected or hurt. But vulnerability is where true connection lies. When both people in a relationship are committed to being fully open with each other, something beautiful happens, trust grows, understanding deepens, and love becomes a secure foundation. However, commitment is not a one-way street. It's a reciprocal act. Both people must be equally committed to the relationship for it to thrive. It's not enough for one person to give everything and the other to only give half. Relationships are a partnership, and for them to be fulfilling, both partners must be willing to put in the effort. This doesn't mean that both people will always give an equal measure. At the same time, it's natural for one person to give more at certain points in the relationship, but it does mean that both partners have a mutual desire to keep the relationship strong, to keep working on it, and to keep growing together. A lack of commitment from one partner can lead to feelings of abandonment, neglect, and doubt. It can create an environment where trust is broken, where one person feels as though they're carrying the weight of the relationship while the other remains distant. This imbalance is often what leads to confusion and heartache. Half love, where one person is not fully committed, leaves the other constantly questioning their worth. It makes them feel unimportant, as though they are an afterthought rather than a priority. When love is not fully committed, it can also stunt personal growth. True love, the kind that is built on mutual commitment, encourages both people to become the best versions of themselves. It pushes them to evolve, to dream, to take risks, and to support each other along the way. In a relationship without commitment, however, one person often ends up stifled, feeling as though they are stuck, unable to move forward because they are not being fully supported. Commitment ensures that each person is dedicated to the growth of the other, whether it's pursuing career goals, working through personal struggles, or learning to be better partners. Another essential aspect of commitment is consistency. True love is not just about the grand gestures or the perfect moments, it's about the everyday actions that show you care. It's in the small, consistent ways you make each other feel valued. It's about showing up when you say you will, keeping your promises, and being there through the highs and lows of life. Consistency in love builds trust, and trust is the bedrock of a strong relationship. Without trust, love becomes unstable. Commitment ensures that you can rely on each other, even when life gets complicated or unpredictable. Finally, commitment to full love requires patience. It's not always immediate, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to build something meaningful. The commitment to love fully means being patient with each other, with the relationship, and with yourself. It means recognizing that both people are on a journey and that growth takes time. It's about understanding that no one is perfect, that mistakes will be made, and that love requires effort, forgiveness, and learning. In conclusion, full love requires commitment because it is the foundation that holds everything together. Commitment creates a space where both people feel secure, valued, and understood. It allows both partners to be vulnerable, to grow, and to face challenges together. Without commitment, love becomes shallow and fragile, subject to doubt and confusion. True love is about choosing each other every single day and working through the inevitable obstacles that life presents. When you choose to commit to someone fully, you create the kind of love that is deep, lasting, and transformative. Half love creates insecurity. It's an unsettling, confusing experience that leaves you constantly questioning your worth and wondering where you stand in the relationship. When you invest your heart, time, and energy into someone who is not fully committed or emotionally available, you open yourself to a level of vulnerability that is often met with silence or hesitation, instead of the clarity and assurance you deserve. The feeling of insecurity doesn't come from within you, it's a reflection of the other person's inability to fully show up in the relationship. Love, at its core, is meant to make us feel safe, supported, and valued. When love is partial or inconsistent, it chips away at our sense of self, making us feel as though we are never enough. We begin to question our worthiness and wonder if we can do more or be more to make the other person fully committed. This self-doubt is the toxic byproduct of half-love. The problem with half-love is that it is based on uncertainty and ambiguity. Half-lovers tend to offer just enough to keep you around, but never enough to make you feel completely secure. They may show affection when they want something or when it's convenient for them, but when it really matters, when you need them to be present, they are nowhere to be found. They might say all the right things, but their actions don't match. This inconsistency creates confusion, leaving you wondering what you truly mean to them. Are you a priority, or are you just an option? When you're in a relationship with someone who gives only a fraction of their love, you are left constantly second-guessing their feelings for you. You might receive moments of affection, but they are few and far between. This creates a kind of emotional roller coaster where one moment you feel loved and cherished and the next you feel invisible. This back and forth pattern can make you feel like you're not enough or that you're not worthy of someone's full love and attention. And because these moments of attention are fleeting, they often become the only thing you hold on to. You hang on to these small gestures, hoping they'll grow into something more, but in reality, they're simply illusions that leave you unsatisfied. Half-love doesn't allow for the security that comes with trust and commitment. Trust in a relationship is built on consistency. It's built on knowing that no matter what happens, the other person will stand by you. But with half-love, there is no certainty. You are constantly wondering if the other person truly cares about you or if they will disappear when things get difficult. This insecurity stems from the lack of reliability in the relationship. Half-lovers do not offer the steady, dependable presence that full love provides. Instead, they give you just enough to keep you emotionally tethered without ever fully investing in you or the relationship. This emotional instability can take a significant toll on your mental and emotional health. When you are in a relationship with someone who is not fully invested, it becomes difficult to trust not only them but also yourself. You begin to doubt your judgment and wonder if you are imagining the inconsistencies or if you are just too needy. These self-doubts compound over time and create a sense of emotional exhaustion. It's like trying to build a home on a foundation that is constantly shifting. No matter how hard you try, the structure will never be stable. Another reason half-love creates insecurity is because it prevents true emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy thrives when both partners are willing to be vulnerable and open with each other. But with half-love, vulnerability is met with walls instead of understanding. When one person holds back, it creates a sense of distance between the two, preventing the connection from deepening. Instead of feeling safe enough to share your deepest fears, desires, and dreams, you feel like you are walking on eggshells, afraid that your partner might withdraw or retreat at any moment. This emotional distance becomes a barrier that keeps both people from fully understanding and accepting each other. You might be able to engage in surface-level conversations, but the deep, meaningful exchanges that build connection are absent. Instead of sharing your authentic selves, you are left hiding parts of who you are, afraid that your partner might not embrace the real you. The insecurity that comes from this emotional disconnect only grows as time goes on. The insecurity created by half-love also arises from a lack of validation. We all seek validation in relationships, not out of vanity, but as a way of knowing that we are seen and heard. Full love offers constant validation through both words and actions. It reassures you that you are enough, just as you are. But half-love, on the other hand, leaves you feeling ignored and unimportant. When someone is not fully committed to you, it's easy to feel like you are constantly striving for their attention or affection, never quite measuring up to their standards or expectations. You constantly wonder if you're doing something wrong, if you're too much or not enough. This feeling of inadequacy erodes your self-esteem and self-worth. In the end, half-love is ultimately a form of emotional neglect. It's a love that is incomplete and inconsistent, leaving you with more questions than answers. It creates insecurity by withholding the very things that make us feel safe in a relationship: presence, commitment, trust, and affection. When you are on the receiving end of half-love, you feel as though you are never fully valued, that you are merely a placeholder until something better comes along. Love is meant to be a source of strength and reassurance. It should make you feel whole, supported, and seen. Half-love, however, leaves you questioning your value and making you feel like an afterthought. You deserve more than that. You deserve love that is full, whole, and unwavering love that does not leave you in the dark, wondering whether or not you are truly cared for. You deserve love that validates your worth, encourages your growth, and reassures you that you are enough, just as you are. Anything less is not love at all. The lack of commitment in half-love creates emotional turmoil that often leads to frustration, confusion, and self-doubt. Love, at its core, is a commitment, a promise to stand by someone, to weather the storms together, and to be there not just when things are easy, but also when they are difficult. Without this commitment, love remains a fragile, unpredictable force, leaving both partners uncertain of where they stand and how to navigate the complexities of the relationship. Half-love, by its very nature, is inconsistent. It gives just enough to keep you engaged, to make you feel as though there is something real, yet it falls short of the depth and consistency that full love requires. Commitment is the glue that holds relationships together. It fosters trust, security, and a sense of belonging. When you are with someone who is committed to you and to the relationship, you know that you have a partner who is invested in the long-term growth and happiness of both individuals. You don't have to worry about whether or not they'll be there when you need them most, because they have already made the choice to be present, to stand by your side through all the ups and downs. In a committed relationship, both partners are in it for the long haul. They are ready to face the challenges that will inevitably arise, and they are willing to make the necessary sacrifices to ensure the relationship remains strong. This shared commitment is what allows love to flourish, to deepen, and to evolve over time. However, half-love lacks this crucial element. It is based on uncertainty and half-hearted efforts. One partner may be fully invested, while the other holds back, unsure of what they want or unwilling to make a full commitment. This imbalance creates an emotional void that is difficult to fill. The partner who is fully committed often feels as though they are giving more than they are receiving, while the other partner may feel trapped or pressured by the intensity of the other person's feelings. This dynamic can lead to frustration on both sides, as neither partner feels fully seen or valued in the relationship. When commitment is lacking, it becomes impossible to build a strong foundation of trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and without it, the connection between two people remains fragile and unstable. Trust is built through consistent actions, through showing up for each other, through being reliable and dependable. In a relationship where one partner is not fully committed, trust becomes a rare commodity. You may wonder whether or not your partner truly has your best interests at heart, or if they are simply in the relationship for the convenience or the momentary pleasure it provides. This uncertainty breeds anxiety, making it difficult to relax and be vulnerable. Instead of feeling secure in the relationship, you constantly question whether your partner will be there when things get tough or whether they will leave when they feel the need to move on. The absence of commitment also leads to a lack of emotional intimacy. True intimacy requires both partners to be fully open and vulnerable with each other. It requires the willingness to share your deepest fears, your greatest desires, and the raw truths that make you who you are. In a relationship where one person is only half committed, emotional intimacy is stunted. The partner who is fully invested may feel as though they are reaching out, but their efforts are not reciprocated. The other partner may be emotionally unavailable, unwilling to share their feelings, or hesitant to make themselves vulnerable. This emotional distance creates a barrier that prevents the relationship from developing into something deeper and more meaningful. Without emotional intimacy, it becomes impossible to connect on a deeper level. The relationship may remain superficial, centered around surface-level interactions and fleeting moments of affection. While these moments can feel good in the short term, they are not enough to sustain the relationship over time. Genuine emotional connection comes from knowing each other on a deep level, from being able to share your true selves without fear of judgment or rejection. When commitment is lacking, this level of connection is impossible to achieve. Both partners remain on the outskirts of each other's emotional world, unable or unwilling to fully engage with one another. In addition to the emotional toll, the lack of commitment can also have a significant impact on your sense of self-worth. When you are in a relationship with someone who is not fully committed to you, it's easy to begin questioning your own value. You might wonder if you are not enough, if there is something wrong with you that is causing your partner to hold back. These feelings of inadequacy can quickly erode your self-esteem, leading you to doubt your own ability to attract and maintain love. You may find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth, seeking validation from your partner or from others. But validation that is not based on genuine commitment will never be enough. You will continue to feel as though you are falling short, always chasing after something that is just out of reach. This insecurity can also cause you to settle for less than you deserve. When you are in a relationship where commitment is lacking, you may begin to accept behavior that you would never tolerate in a fully committed relationship. You may excuse your partner's lack of effort or convince yourself that things will improve over time. But the truth is, a relationship without commitment is unlikely to improve on its own. You cannot build a meaningful connection with someone who is not fully invested in you. If you continue to stay in a relationship where commitment is absent, you risk losing sight of your own needs, desires, and self-worth. Ultimately, a lack of commitment in love creates a constant cycle of uncertainty and disappointment. It's a relationship that never quite reaches its full potential, a relationship that leaves you feeling unfulfilled and unsure of where you stand. Without commitment, love becomes unstable and unreliable, leaving both partners emotionally drained and disconnected. Commitment is not just a choice, it's a necessary element for any relationship to thrive. It provides the foundation of trust, emotional intimacy, and security that allows love to flourish. Without it, you are left with a relationship that is built on shaky ground, unable to withstand the challenges that come its way. When you allow yourself to love half-heartedly, you open the door to endless disappointment and frustration. Full love, by its nature, requires both people to be all in. It demands vulnerability, trust, and the willingness to risk emotional exposure. When you're loved only halfway, these essential components are often withheld or inconsistently given. This emotional withholding leaves you feeling like you're not fully seen or appreciated, as if the other person is only partially involved, holding back parts of themselves that you need to feel whole in the relationship. One of the most painful aspects of half-love is the inconsistency that comes with it. One moment you might feel adored, cherished, and valued, and the next you feel like a stranger to the very person who professes to care for you. This unpredictability becomes exhausting over time. It's difficult to navigate a relationship where affection and care seem to ebb and flow with no clear reason or rhyme. You may spend days, weeks, or even months on high emotional alert, waiting for the next sign of affection or a clear indication that the person you're involved with is truly committed to you. This emotional push and pull creates a sense of instability that can never provide the secure foundation needed for a deep, fulfilling relationship. People who love halfway often give you just enough to keep you hooked, but not enough to truly satisfy you. These sporadic gestures of affection or small acts of kindness become like crumbs that you desperately try to collect and turn into something meaningful. You hold on to these moments of connection because they are fleeting, rare, and provide you with the illusion of love, even if it is incomplete. This uncertainty leads to confusion, as you begin to question whether the relationship is really worth your time and energy. Are you simply clinging to fleeting moments that leave you feeling hollow, or is there something deeper you are waiting for that never quite arrives? You might also find yourself constantly seeking validation from this half-lover. You may go out of your way to prove that you are deserving of their affection, always questioning whether you've done enough or been enough to earn their attention. You start to second-guess your own worth, feeling as though you must continually prove yourself to gain the love and recognition that should naturally come from someone who is fully invested in you. This creates a toxic cycle of self-doubt. Instead of feeling secure in the relationship, you find yourself constantly fighting to keep the other person engaged, constantly measuring your actions and words to see if they will yield the desired response. In the end, no amount of proving yourself will change the fact that the other person is only giving you part of themselves, making the relationship a constant struggle for emotional survival. The absence of genuine emotional intimacy is another major consequence of loving halfway. Emotional intimacy requires that both people in the relationship feel safe enough to be fully open and vulnerable with each other. In a situation where love is only partial, vulnerability is often met with resistance or indifference. One partner may be emotionally closed off or unwilling to share their deepest thoughts and feelings, leaving the other person feeling isolated and disconnected. Without vulnerability, it's impossible to build the emotional bonds that create lasting love. The relationship, instead of becoming a source of mutual growth and emotional support, becomes a space where both partners remain in their own worlds, unable or unwilling to reach out to one another. This lack of vulnerability creates an emotional distance that only grows with time. As one person pulls away, the other may try to bridge the gap, but if the effort isn't reciprocated, frustration builds. You may try to open up, to express your needs and desires, only to find that your partner is emotionally unavailable or uninterested in engaging. This emotional wall is not only painful, but it erodes the possibility of a true connection. What could have been a deeply enriching relationship becomes a place where one person is left feeling lonely and unsupported, while the other remains emotionally distant and disconnected. Another painful reality of half-love is the way it disrupts your ability to trust. Trust is the foundation upon which love thrives. Without it, the relationship is nothing more than a shaky bridge waiting to collapse under the weight of any serious challenge. Half-love is, by its nature, unreliable. You cannot trust someone who is not fully committed to you, who pulls away when things get tough or when their interest wanes. This lack of reliability makes it difficult to believe that your partner will be there when you need them most. Without trust, the relationship remains fragile, uncertain, and ultimately unfulfilling. The constant doubt and fear of abandonment keep you on edge, always questioning whether your partner's actions and words align. When you cannot rely on your partner to be emotionally present, it becomes nearly impossible to feel safe enough to fully invest your heart. When you give yourself to someone who is only half present, you are forced to settle for a version of love that will never satisfy you. It's a constant tug of war between wanting more and fearing that you will never get it. This creates internal conflict as you begin to wrestle with the idea that maybe, just maybe, you're not enough. You begin to question your value, wondering if there is something wrong with you that causes the other person to pull back or withhold their love. These feelings of inadequacy can lead you to compromise your standards and lower your expectations, thinking that any love is better than no love at all. But the truth is, you deserve more. You deserve a love that is whole, unconditional, and fully committed to your well-being. Half-love not only leaves you emotionally unfulfilled, but it also steals your peace of mind. When you are involved with someone who is not fully committed, you are constantly living in a state of emotional turmoil, unsure of where you stand and what your future together might look like. This uncertainty consumes your thoughts, leaving you unable to focus on anything else. You are constantly searching for answers, trying to decipher the mixed signals and figuring out what it will take to make the other person love you the way you deserve to be loved. This mental and emotional drain is exhausting and ultimately unsustainable. You deserve a love that is full and complete. A love that is unwavering in its commitment, a love that offers trust, security, and emotional intimacy. Anything less than that will only leave you yearning for something more, something real, something lasting. It's time to stop settling for half love and start demanding the full, genuine love that you deserve. A love that fills you up, that makes you feel whole, and that never leaves you wondering where you stand. You are worthy of love that is consistent, reliable, and nourishing, not the kind that leaves you empty and wondering if you'll ever be enough. When we engage in half-love, we inadvertently allow ourselves to become emotionally drained, as we are continually seeking to fill a void that never seems to be completely satisfied. The consequences of staying in a relationship where love is only half given are not limited to emotional exhaustion alone. They ripple through every aspect of our lives, impacting our mental, physical, and emotional health. Over time, this emotional toll can lead to a sense of self-doubt, confusion, and ultimately a lack of clarity about who we are and what we truly deserve. The longer we remain in such a relationship, the more we become entangled in the cycle of seeking validation from someone who is unwilling or unable to give us the love and commitment we need. One of the most significant consequences of half-love is the gradual erosion of our sense of self-worth. When you are constantly in a relationship where the love is inconsistent, you start to internalize the idea that you are not deserving of full, unconditional love. The half-hearted affection you receive becomes a reflection of your own perceived inadequacy, leading to a sense of self-doubt. It becomes easier to convince yourself that you are somehow unworthy of a deeper, more consistent love because you are not receiving it in its entirety. As a result, you might begin to tolerate behavior that is dismissive, neglectful, or unappreciative because you have convinced yourself that this is the best love you can receive. The need for validation can become a driving force in your emotional world. You might begin to rely on small gestures of affection or occasional moments of attention to convince yourself that the relationship is still valuable. These moments, however, are fleeting and insufficient to build a healthy emotional connection. What you truly need is not a momentary expression of love, but a steady and unwavering commitment that provides a foundation of trust, respect, and security. Without this consistency, you are left constantly seeking more, searching for reassurance from someone who is not fully engaged in the relationship. The pursuit of validation from a half-hearted lover is a hollow endeavor that leaves you emotionally starved and constantly questioning your worth. The lack of emotional consistency also creates a sense of unpredictability within the relationship. One day, everything may seem fine. You may feel loved, secure, and content in your connection with your partner. But the next day, they may be distant, disengaged, or emotionally unavailable, leaving you feeling confused and uncertain. This inconsistency creates a roller coaster of emotions, with the highs feeling euphoric, but the lows leaving you emotionally battered. The unpredictability can lead to a state of heightened anxiety, where you are constantly on edge, unsure of what the next moment will bring. This anxiety stems from the emotional instability that comes with loving someone who cannot offer you the same level of commitment and consistency in return. Being in a relationship with someone who only offers half love also prevents you from fully exploring and developing your own emotional capacity. Love is not just about receiving affection from another person, it is also about learning and growing through the connection you share. When you engage in a relationship where love is incomplete, it limits your ability to explore deeper levels of emotional intimacy and growth. You are left stuck in a cycle of trying to fix or fulfill the needs of your partner, neglecting your own emotional health in the process. This can prevent you from fully engaging with your own emotional needs and desires, leaving you feeling disconnected from yourself. Instead of growing together as partners, you are merely surviving, navigating a relationship that is built on uncertainty and unfulfilled potential. The uncertainty of a relationship marked by half-love also hinders your ability to trust in your own judgment. Inconsistent love creates doubt not only in your partner, but also in your ability to discern what is truly best for you. You may start second-guessing your own feelings, wondering if you are asking for too much or expecting something unrealistic. This self-doubt becomes a barrier to making clear, confident decisions about the relationship. When you allow yourself to be in a relationship that is emotionally unpredictable, you are ultimately giving up control over your own emotional well-being. The lack of clarity and certainty can leave you questioning your own choices, making it difficult to recognize when it's time to move on or set healthier boundaries. Moreover, remaining in a relationship with half-love also causes you to neglect your own needs in favor of trying to please someone who is not fully committed to you. You may find yourself constantly adjusting your behavior, compromising your values, or changing your priorities in an attempt to earn the love and approval that you crave. This can lead to a sense of emotional depletion as you give and give, only to receive a fraction of what you truly need in return. Over time, this depletion can take a toll on your physical health as well, as the emotional strain of being in a relationship where love is only partial begins to manifest in stress, anxiety, and a general sense of exhaustion. The strain of half love also extends beyond the immediate relationship and affects your ability to engage with others. If you are constantly seeking validation from a partner who cannot provide it, you may begin to withdraw from other relationships or isolate yourself emotionally from friends and family. The emotional energy you expend on a relationship that is one-sided drains you, leaving little left for other important connections in your life. This isolation can further amplify feelings of loneliness and inadequacy as you find yourself relying on a relationship that is ultimately unsatisfying and unfulfilling. When we choose to stay in a relationship with half love, we deny ourselves the opportunity to experience a more complete, fulfilling form of love. We trap ourselves in a cycle of emotional depletion, constantly seeking more from someone who cannot or will not provide it. It is only when we break free from this pattern and recognize our own worth that we can begin to attract and experience the kind of love that is abundant, consistent, and reciprocal. You are worthy of a love that sees you for who you truly are, a love that is willing to invest in you completely, and a love that nurtures and supports your growth. Anything less is simply not enough. Choosing to break free from half love is an act of self-care and self-respect. It is a choice to honor your own emotional needs and recognize that you deserve more than what you are receiving. By letting go of relationships that leave you emotionally depleted and unfulfilled, you make room for the kind of love that you are truly worthy of, a love that is full, deep, and consistent. Only then can you begin to experience the joy and satisfaction that comes from being loved in a way that nourishes your soul. Settling for half love often means we are engaging in a cycle of self-sabotage, trapping ourselves in a situation where we keep hoping for change but never truly experiencing the love we desire. Over time, this cycle can become deeply ingrained as we convince ourselves that we should be grateful for the little crumbs of affection we receive, rationalizing that this is all we are worth. However, the truth is that allowing ourselves to be treated with half love is not just unfair to us, but it is also a denial of our potential for happiness and fulfillment. It's essential to break free from this destructive pattern, not only for our own emotional well-being, but also for our ability to build a life that aligns with our true worth and desires. One of the primary reasons we stay in relationships where half love is offered is fear of being alone, fear of abandonment, fear that we won't find something better, or fear of rejection. We may feel that the love we are receiving, even if it is inconsistent or incomplete, is the best we can get, and we might convince ourselves that it's better than nothing at all. This fear is a powerful force, one that keeps us stuck in relationships that are draining and unfulfilling. The reality is that fear-based decisions often lead to long-term dissatisfaction. We are left longing for something deeper, something real, and no amount of temporary affection will ever fill that void. Our attachment to half-love often stems from a deeper emotional need for validation. We all want to feel desired and loved, and when we are in relationships where love is withheld or given only sporadically, we may begin to see these moments of affection as a form of validation. We interpret these brief moments as signs that we are worthy of love, convincing ourselves that as long as the love is given in some form, it's enough. But in reality, this is not a healthy dynamic. True validation does not come from someone else's sporadic affection, it comes from within. The key to breaking free from half-love is to start recognizing our own worth and learning how to validate ourselves without depending on someone else's approval. Another common reason people stay in relationships with half-love is the mistaken belief that love should always be a struggle. Some people have been conditioned to believe that real love requires sacrifice, endurance, and accepting less than we deserve. This mindset can make us feel as though staying in a relationship where love is not fully given is a noble or virtuous act. In truth, love that is healthy, fulfilling, and deep should not require us to constantly sacrifice our own happiness or self-worth. True love is a partnership based on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. It is a relationship where both individuals give fully, with no one person bearing the brunt of the emotional work or carrying the weight of unmet needs.